Welcome to the Wholeness and Wellness podcast. I'm your host, Megan Toops, founder of Libra Living Wellness Ltd. And this is episode number 2 called Real Talk Reflection, where we're going to be talking about how finding my own wholeness led me here. So these kind of episodes, Real Talk Reflections, are going to be a repeated episode where I'll share some reflections and insights about my own personal wellness path. But today I want to be sharing with all of you the origins of Libra Living Wellness Ltd. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Give a little bit of backstory as to how all this got started. So yeah, let's jump right in. So first I want to talk about the starting point, where the spark came to start all of this. So to kind of go from there, I guess I have to start, we go back a bit. I've always had a passion to kind of help others. Even I would say like in high school, in junior high, like I was a part of like my youth group and leadership teams, camps and things like that. And I really enjoyed doing things like that. I led small groups. I led my Sunday school group, yes, in a church and stuff like that. And so yeah, like I've always just kind of had a passion, to lead others, to help others. So that was always kind of there. So when we get to going to university, I feel like everybody's unsure their first year. That's why you take a bunch of intro courses to university. I was originally I'm trying not to stumble on my words here, signed up for biopsychology. So it was like biology and psychology together. Didn't care for the biology part as much. So I ended up studying psychology and it was fantastic. Can't say that word for some reason. Very interesting. And it really did, help set the foundation of what guided me and helped me start to what I would be doing. Like I said, it kind of helped start that and that interest. And kind of after completing that degree, ended up with a bachelor's in psychology. Never had a desire to get a PhD because that just didn't sound like fun. Didn't want to go to school for any more time, write papers, do a thesis. That sounded terrible. However, I did take some online courses, which really my own personal wellness and mental health kind of sparked those. I took some online like coaching courses, life coaching, mindset coaching, different things like that. So that's kind of where, again, laying more foundation for what I'm doing now. Again, always had that passion to help others, but also that interest of, mental wellness was a big part of that. Now, I've always been a little bit about my history or whatever. I've always been a big worrier, to all my worriers out there. Like I think since I was younger, I've always been a big worrier. Very anxious person, and sometimes be very difficult. I would say now being older, I've definitely learned a lot of techniques and I have become better at things. But of course everything is always a process and, it's never one and done type of thing. keep on track with me. Hopefully I don't go on track. I don't have anyone to help guide me here. So yeah. So again, that passion was always been there, which led me to study, around those topics, and also had a very high interest in self-help books. Like, self-help books aren't for everyone, but I learned a lot from reading those types of books too. Now, kind of what, that's kind of the starting point, I guess, that led me. And I always had a desire to, later on in life, like once I kind of completed studying, I was like, I'd love to start my own business. I just thought that would be so cool and help others, but I just didn't know what I was going to do. Like, it just was not clear. After finishing university, with having a bachelor's degree but no experience, it was very hard to get work. So I did work retail for a while, which sucked. Sorry if people enjoy working retail. Hated it. But eventually I got to the point where I had the opportunity to work at a college. And I feel like this is the point where it started taking a little bit of a turn. So I get to work for a college, and I worked there for probably around 3.5 years. And that spark, again, this passion was always within me. It's just, it took time to develop and for me to kind of see it clearly. So, but again, going back to the college, this is where it kind of started to ignite even more. So I was basically assistant to the campus director at this college, and I got to help students. I did a lot of things for students, helped coordinate a lot of different things. So again, it was like, it's really, okay, side note, it's so awesome to look back in your life. Like, I'm talking personally about myself, but I think for anyone to kind of look back on your life and look at all the things that led you to where you are today. Like, I just think as you get older, you, have more gratitude for that. When you're younger, like, what? Why do I have to go through this crap? But anyway, coming back to focus. So working at the college, I got to, lay even more groundwork to lead me to where I'm going. But I got to help students. And when I was helping students, there was a couple of moments that happened where it really ignited that passion. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do more of this. Like, I don't want to do this busy work. I want to do more of this, and helping others, coaching others, helping with their mental health. So again, that ignite was like, it was lit and it was growing. And I was at that college. Not going to get into too crazy detail. It was a toxic environment. Went through a lot of stress. So I think I learned a lot with dealing with stress. And I think that kind of led me to other things as well. But anyway, that was kind of my first experience. Then from there, I did go to, because it was a toxic environment, I went to a short job. And I'm not trying to just bore you with job history, but again, it's laying the groundwork of how I got to here. I did go for a job thinking it was something else. I thought I was going to be creating, because I love creating content, so that's another passion of mine, which it kind of helps with what I'm doing. And I thought I was going to be creating kind of like coursework for like young youth. Yeah, that's not what it was. It was a daycare. I was changing diapers and cleaning snotty noses, and I was like, now, there are people who work at daycares, and I give prompts to them because people out there love that and love working with kids. I do not. It's not to say that I don't like kids. It's just not for me. Those I think it was like 3 months, were hell to me because I did not enjoy it whatsoever. And that's why a lot of times the job fit for a person is different for everyone, and it has to work for you, because it was so stressful. It was such a stressful time in my life. Whereas someone else, it was like their passion. They loved it. Now, in that time, COVID happened, good and bad. I was able to not work at that daycare job, which was great for me because I hated it. um, and it gave, and then someone who I knew from the previous job at the college was like, "Hey, do you want to work, um, at this place I'm working at?" And it works with newcomers and, helping them get settled and stuff like that. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great." Because I thought, hey, that's kind of maybe more in line with something I'd want to do. So yeah, kind of going through that short version. I get hired during COVID in 2020. It was May of 2020. And, get hired to work at a multicultural association, again, helping newcomers get settled. And I was still technically a newcomer myself. Um, I guess I've never mentioned that. I do live in New Brunswick, Canada, but I'm originally from Louisiana in the States. So just a little more history there for you. But I came up here for university, and I've now been living here for over 17 years and recently got my Canadian citizenship last year in November. So I'm both Canadian and American. So yeah, little detour there for you, more history, but still on topic. And I promise I will try to stay on track. But again, I have no one guiding me, so I'm trying to guide myself. So anyway, coming back, working at the Multicultural Association. It's a mouthful. So, and that contact I had from the college, he was my boss. So it was wonderful. I got to work from home. It was virtual because, again, it was like really in the height of COVID. And I did stay at that place for about almost 5 years. It was like 4.5 years. So that laid a lot of groundwork for prepping me for what I'm doing now. Like in so many ways. In so many ways, it's crazy. So, in doing that work, it helps me with preparing to talk in front of people, preparing content. What I was first doing when I started was creating life skills workshops for the clients. And it was so in line with what kind of I'm doing now in a sense. But again, I was just getting closer and closer to doing what I'm doing. So again, that passion, that fire was it was growing. It was growing bigger and bigger. Not to say that there was not challenges because, I was doing that for about a year, and then I moved into pre-employment where I became a little bit more independent and created the format however I wanted. I created workshops for people like on stress management, emotional intelligence, and also employment related. Met with people one-on-one. So again, it was just laying more foundation and groundwork for the type of work that I'm doing now. Summarizing that, so coming that to a close, like I said, I worked there for about 4.5 to 5 years. And it was last year in February, so it'll be a year pretty soon. I got laid off of my job. There was talk happening because we were, we were a non-for-profit organization, and we were losing funding. And thought I was safe, but I went to work that day, did not know anything, and it was like, oh, we don't have good news. We have to let you go. And I was like, okay. Positive point to that is like, the year before, I was thinking, okay, I want to start doing this as a full-time job. And let me, I guess, talk about that development as to why. So a few years ago, I went through some health stuff. Nothing too serious, but I had a lump on my stomach. Didn't know what it was, had no pain. come to find out I had fibroids. So for those of you who don't know what fibroids are, typically, I mean, they happen to women pretty commonly. It's just these benign growths that happen around or inside the uterus, typically more than one. They're not cancerous. Sometimes they cause issues or pains or bad periods. I didn't really have any symptoms, but I had a lot of them. And I believe this was very connected to stress. So, because of that, I started diving very deep into health and wellness for myself. Kind of took like a health course, took more online courses for myself, and learned lots. And it just even, again, sparking that passion even more to help others, to help others with their wellness and to have better health, better techniques. And that's what Libra Living Wellness is about, is helping others build healthier habits so they can live a more balanced life, and also be preventative in their health. So again, with that, and then working in Magma, I had come to the point where I want to do something. I want to do coaching. I want to do this. So it was the year before that. So last year I got laid off, which was 2025. So 2024, the fall of 2024 or somewhere around that, I had wanted to start building my content. And I started creating my coaching content. I was like, okay, I want to do this. So what can I do now? You know, I can't leave my job because I need a paycheck, but let me start creating this content. So I started doing that. Then I heard about a program that helped people, you know, get paid through EI, through employment insurance, and while they start their business. But one of the requirements is you had to be laid off from your job. Well, when I got laid off, I was like, oh my gosh, I can apply for this program now. So it was like the door had opened. The universe was like, hey, you want to start this? Here you go. So I got laid off. I applied for that program, got accepted, and I got laid off on a Wednesday. I took the Thursday, Friday, and of course the weekend off. And then I dived in that next Monday, and I was like, okay, let's do this. Started, you know, looking at my content, going to business classes, applying for that program. And I just went full force, And there was lots of challenges along the way because I had no knowledge of starting a business. So I had to learn lots. I did not have the funds to fund all these different people to do things for me. So I learned to do them myself, which I will say I am very proud of myself for that because, and generally that I think is part of my personality anyway, is I'm very independent. I like to learn things myself. I like to do things myself. Unless I really don't know, then I will ask someone, hey, what's your opinion on this? Or can you help me out with this? So I learned lots, but there was moments where I felt like I was going to go into a panic attack. And I feel like I would just literally physically sit there frozen and be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen. And it was like severe panic. And it's not to say that those moments won't necessarily happen again, but I've got through a lot of those panic moments and come out to the other side. There has been constant struggle. And for anyone who's an entrepreneur, they know it's not easy. To choose to be an entrepreneur is not an easy task. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's not for everyone. But I think what helps people to keep going is you have to be passionate about something. If you're like, oh, let's do this, I want to do this, or be like an expert entrepreneur, a very good business person. Me, I'm not a business person, but I have such a strong passion that's been igniting for years and years and years that it's like, that passion grew so strong that I was like, I need to do something. So there's still been challenges. I bought a space in August to, have my services, but it didn't work out and it was a big expense. So in this new year, I decided to let go of that space. So I feel like I kind of had to do some grieving because that first vision kind of had to die, but it's making way for a new, better vision. I'm still going. I'm very excited to kind of share. It led me to do this podcast, and I'm very excited about it. This is only the second episode, so please follow and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube. And I'm still, I think there's still going to be challenges, and I think again it's having a strong passion to keep you moving forward. I've also had triumphs, like when something good happens, I get so pumped and I try to embrace that energy and hold on to it for as long as possible because I know that there could be a challenge around the corner. Not that I'm anticipating there to be a challenge, but I know there's ups and downs just like as in life. So when something awesome happens, I welcome it and embrace it full arms wide open. But hopefully that was clear as where you can see how I got to what I'm doing now. And I love it. And I want to keep going. Like it's still so new. I have this podcast that I'm doing that I hope helps others, that people join in. Again, I'm going to repeat this real talk reflections to kind of just share my own personal journey and story and certain things. And other times I will have guests focus around a specific topic. So my hopes or goals for Libra Living Wellness is to help others, point blank and period, but is to, help others build healthier habits and to take charge of their wellness, because a lot of people kind of brush it aside, I find. I know when I was younger, I didn't think about my wellness as much as I do now. I think when you get older, things start happening to your body, so you're like, okay, I need to start focusing my wellness. But I want people to start sooner. Take charge of your wellness because don't wait around for something to happen. Take charge of it now. Be preventative about it. And my hopes, and again, going back to my goals and hopes for Libra Living Wellness, is that it continues to grow, that, people start noticing Libra Living Wellness and yeah, I can get behind them and what they're about. And, people listen to the podcast or sign up for coaching or wellness scans, whatever it may be, but start taking care of themselves and taking charge of their wellness. Now, something I would like to kind of promote that we're getting, like I said, this podcast is new, so please subscribe, follow, join in, and also to Libra Living Liberations. They're little short videos that I do, kind of just at random. Like I think of a topic and I'm like, yeah, let's talk about this. They're 4 to 5 minutes, so check those out too. Something new that I'm getting into slowly. It's new to Canada, and it is very new. It only came out in 2022. Is Vital Health. So what they do, first part is they do wellness, a quantum resonance wellness scans. And what it is it's the scan, non-invasive. You put it on your finger and it reads like energy, cellular energy in your body, just like kind of like those Aura rings or Apple Watches read things in your body. It reads things at a cellular level, measures frequencies, and it catches any imbalances in your body. So if anything's off balance, and I think it goes through, I think it was 45 different systems in your body. It gives you this full 120-page report, detailed report of any imbalances. And then they also have natural health products to kind of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? To offer you depending upon where your balance is. So they kind of say, hey, take this product. If you're imbalanced here, this helps this. And what's great about the product is they have adaptogens that allows your body to actually absorb it at a cellular level. So it's like really good stuff. I just started taking some myself. They have like coffees that have like all this healthy stuff in it. So instead of drinking regular coffee, I'm like, hey, I'm going to drink this coffee that has all this extra bonus healthy stuff to it. So I'm slowly getting into that as well. So check them out, Vital Health Global. I think you can Google it. Excuse me. So I hope this is informative. I'm keeping this real raw, just like my Libra Living Liberations. I hope that people, by knowing the background of Libra Living Wellness, can just understand the origins of it a little bit better. So that's kind of it for me today. I want to thank you, anyone who's joining in, who tunes into this episode, and check out the website. I've been working on updating that. I will try to post things there, but also don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube and Spotify. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time.